Adverbs and adjectives. What do they mean? Okay. An adverb. Okay. An adverb is a bit trickier than an adjective, because an adjective is quite easy. It's basically describing a noun. But let's cover the definition of an adverb first. You can see it written out for you there. Okay. It's a word that modifies a verb. That's what it's doing. It's giving some description to a verb. It can also modify an adjective as well. Alright? Another adverb, you can modify that, and it can be put into a verbal phrase. Now, we covered verbal phrases in the last video. It can be used as a clause in a sentence, and it indicates why, how, where, etc. Okay, I hope you're getting a general idea of this. It's to put it in very, very simple terms, it is modifying your verb and an adjective. So let's get a couple of examples up for you here now. Now, we covered verbal phrases in the Learning Verbs video, so we're going to put an adverb into a phrase which we covered in one of the earlier videos. A very basic phrase, okay? I am happily waving at my fans. I am happily waving at my fans. Now, you'll remember we were talking about auxiliary verbs and main verbs. So am waving is your verbal phrase there. Auxiliary verb there being am, and waving being the main verb. Now we've put in happily to modify the main verb and modify the verbal phrase. I am happily waving at my adoring fans. Let's see some more basic examples of adverbs. John ran home very quickly. John ran home. You see, you wouldn't say that in normal spoken English or written English, would you? Because it's not really giving a lot of description. You'd want to make it sound a little bit more interesting. So John ran home very quickly does sound a bit more interesting. So where are the adverbs there? You know that John is a proper noun, and we will be covering proper nouns and pronouns in a later video. Not the next one, but the one after that. So John is a proper noun. Ran, of course, it's an action word, it's a doing word. That's the verb, John ran. Home, that's a noun. Very, quickly. Very and quickly are both adverbs. Now, here's a little tip for you. Here's a little tip that's going to help you out a lot. You're thinking, my goodness, what is the difference between an adverb and an adjective? They both sound the same. Well, actually, they sound very different when you do this little test. Let's put an example up for you here. Let's talk about Britney Spears. Now, it's okay to talk about celebrities and real people, providing you're giving factual information about them and non-derogatory information. Okay, you don't want to be saying something incorrect or telling a lie about someone, so obviously that won't happen. So everything I say about real people here will be complimentary, I can assure you. Right, okay, let's talk about Britney here. Britney Spears is a very good singer, okay? So what I'm going to do with this sentence is I'm going to get rid of the adjective. You can see the adjective over there. It's good. It's describing the noun being singer. We're going to get rid of good, and write it out like this. Britney Spears is a very singer. You see, it sounds pretty silly, doesn't it? How can somebody be a very singer? That's because we have got rid of the adjective. As you see, the adverb does absolutely nothing to assist the noun. So let's put it on the board again, but this time write it out correctly. Britney Spears is a very good singer. So an adjective, let's get it flashed up on the board by magic. Okay, it's describing a noun. Adverbs describe an adjective. Kate rode her horse extremely fast. Kate, proper noun, rode, verb, her, pronoun, horse, noun, very, of course, is an adverb, and fast is an adjective. So when you think about it, when you're putting an adverb in front of an adjective, it makes perfect sense. But when you're putting an adverb directly in front of a noun, it doesn't make sense. So let's give you some examples now. I'm going to just scroll them up of incorrect, incorrect figures of speech. You know, you just wouldn't say it. This is to make the whole subject of adverbs and adjectives just a little bit more clear for you. Okay. Now, in the ones that I'm going to be scrolling up for you here, they're all going to be ending with 2 letters, because here is a fascinating fact. Most adverbs end this way. They end with the letters ly. Now let's give you some of these sentences right now. Now let's put them on your screen written correctly. Now try and spot the adverbs and the adjectives if you like. Here goes. Adverbs really come from adjectives. That is how they start off their life. The vast majority of adverbs are adjectives in their root form. Alright? For example, the word brilliant. A brilliant man, a brilliant singer, a brilliant painting, a brilliant performance. You know, you get the general idea of it there. Now, by adding a suffix to the word brilliant, you have got your adverb, brilliantly. He performed the song brilliantly. You see? Now, don't be fooled into thinking that you can never, ever put an adverb before a noun or a pronoun, because you can. Now, obviously, in obvious words like these, they stand out and hit you right between the eyes, don't they? Okay? Very man. Increasingly woman. Okay? It's obvious that they don't fit. However, what about this one here? Now, with this example here, what we're going to do is we're going to add manner, place, quantity and time, which all come under the heading adverbs. Okay? We're going to add all these examples into one sentence. Right? When I go to town, I always see a lot of people walking very quickly. Okay, now with that one there, what we've done is we've got all 4 examples of adverbs which don't spring to mind immediately. We've got all 4 examples incorporated in one sentence there. Okay, and what are they? Now, when is an adverb, comes under the category of time. When. Now, what we'll be able to do as these lessons go on is we'll be able to identify all these words just by looking at them. And we won't have to constantly look at the dictionary, which is the level I'm trying to get you at here. So let's go back to this one here again. I'm spending a little bit of time on it because it is quite important. When, okay, it sounds quite different to a lot of adverbs like incidentally and ridiculously and carelessly. Okay, they're obvious. They're what I call these ones obvious adverbs, because you can't put them immediately in front of a noun because they sound ridiculous. But when you look at this one here, when, you're sort of scratching your head thinking, oh, when, that can, oh, is that a noun, is it a, I don't know. Well, of course it is an adverb. When I, of course, pronoun. Go to, prepositions there, we're coming on to them next. Town, noun. I, pronoun. Always, I always, that there of course is an adverb. See. Now, when we talk about adverbs, you've got to think about 4 things: manner, place, quantity, and time. Now, with the manner one up here, this is where your words ending in ly come in. It's telling you how well someone did something. Okay, words like this. Now, with your place adverbs, it's telling you whereabouts something is. Where, there. Okay? Quantity is how many, how much, lots, little. And and time, of course, today, tomorrow. Now, that's giving you some examples there. And let's put some of these in sentences for you. That's your manner one. Did you spot the adverb? This is your place one. Okay, now putting an adverb referring to quantity into a sentence, here goes. And your time, putting an adverb referring to time into a sentence, here's an example. Now what you've got to remember is, when you're looking at a dictionary and you're seeing a word like this, for example, hard. Right, now this can confuse people here because it's listed as an adjective. And you'd expect it to be, wouldn't you? Because how can you tell them apart? How can you tell an adverb apart from an adjective? You put the adverb before the noun. White wall, hard wall. Aha, that makes sense. It's describing the wall as hard. Yes, but there are other meanings of the word hard, aren't there? I am thinking hard about what to do tomorrow. You see? It's a different meaning of the word hard. And that meaning of the word hard is not an adjective. It is an adverb. You see, the word hard there is describing how I'm thinking. It's modifying that, isn't it? Okay, so let's put the word hard out as an adjective. Now let's put it out in a sentence as an adverb. You see? And this can happen with quite a lot of them there, so don't get confused with this. It all depends on the context of the sentence. When you're looking at a dictionary, you think, he's wrong. That word isn't an adverb, that's an adjective. Now, don't forget that a lot of adverbs are coming from adjectives, but when you see them in sentences, you can tell the difference, okay? Because there are significant differences there. Right, okay. So let's list again some adverbs, and then let's follow it with a list of adjectives. I know a lot of other teachers don't like to give lists. I do, because it's letting you see them all, isn't it? You know, it's not just giving you one or two examples, it's giving you a whole variety of examples there to look at. Okay, so I'll leave you with that list, and I'll see you after you've seen the list, basically. So you can see there, can't you? The adjectives, and before that the adverbs. You can see the similarities between two words, but they are in fact quite different, because with an adverb you're not putting a noun directly afterwards, but with an adjective you can do. Okay. Now another thing to learn about adverbs is you can move them around. I quickly completed this lesson. Quickly, obviously, that is your adverb. Move it around, you can put it over here now. I completed this lesson quickly. I instantly made some coffee. I made some coffee instantly. You see, they can jump around, so there's no problems with that. Good thing about adverbs and adjectives is they don't have, unlike verbs, there's no auxiliary, transitive, modal, infinitive things to worry about. An adverb is an adverb is an adverb, and an adjective is an adjective is an adjective. But again, don't forget that very important lesson, that some words can be both, and it all depends in which texts they are spoken or written. So, on to adjectives. So, adjectives. Now, in this part of the lesson we're going to be discussing comparative and superlative. Okay? Comparative. I'm not helping you here, I'm letting you read it all by yourself. Reading is going to help your English. Right? That is what comparative means. Superlative. And you can get comparative adverbs and superlative adverbs. You can get comparative adjectives and superlative adjectives. And here's an example here with an adjective. Deriving from the root word, which is great. Comparative version, greater. Superlative version, greatest. It's as far as it can go. You can't be any better than the greatest. Now, here is a comparative and a superlative adverb. To put it very simply, as you saw from the list there, you probably noticed them, didn't you? Okay? Your comparative form of an adverb or an adjective is ending in ER, whereas the superlative form of an adverb or an adjective is ending in EST. Okay? And that is putting it very, very simply for you. Now, to make it just a little tiny little bit more complicated for you here, it's all about syllables. Okay? When you start off with this one here, cheap. Obviously, I don't have to tell you what cheap is. In fact, I will ask you, what is cheap? Cheap is an adjective because you can put it before a noun. Cheap car, cheap food, cheap contract. Right? Cheaper and cheapest. That's one syllable, you see. Disgraceful. 3 syllables there, you see. Disgraceful. So you can't say disgracefuler and you can't say disgracefulest, but you can say more disgraceful, and that there would be the comparative version of disgraceful, more disgraceful. The superlative version of that would be most disgraceful. You see, 3 syllables. You can't add an ER to it there, it doesn't make sense. Disgracefuler, disgracefulest, most disgraceful, more disgraceful. Respectful, a respectful man. He was more respectful. If you're saying that, you're using the adjective respectful in the comparative form. He was most respectful. You're using it in the superlative form. Again, you see, 3 syllables. You can't put ER or ST at the end there because they don't make sense. Respectfuler, respectfulest. It's not a word, you see. So, with 3 syllable words, your comparative there is more, and your superlative would be most. He spoke directly at the crowd. Okay, he spoke directly at the crowd. Direct, of course, an adjective. Directly, an adverb. Try putting directly in front of, just before crowd. Directly, crowd. You see, doesn't make any sense, does it, at all? Now, here are some adjectives for you. An adjective, of course, is describing the noun. Hot water, cold water, big house, tall man, pretty woman, clever lady, good computer. In fact, we're pointing at it now, aren't we? A white wall. Did you also know that the word the is an adjective? And of course it is. The teacher. The describing the noun. The teacher. The wall. The flat. The camera. The couch. It's an adjective. Did you also know that a number is an adjective? Today I bought 3 pints of milk. It's describing how many, the exact amount of pints of milk I bought. 3. And that could be anything. At football I scored 4 goals. How many goals did I score? I scored 4. It's describing how many goals I scored. 4 goals. So a number is, in fact, an adjective. an adverb in front of an adjective, I scored 4 fantastically good goals. You see, I can't put fantastic there if I'm wanting to show that as an adverb, because fantastic is an adjective. Adjective. Today I scored 4 fantastically good goals. Fantastically is enhancing the adjective good, which an adjective, of course, is describing the goals. So that is today's lesson on adverbs and adjectives. Okay, so let's put you to the test now and see if you've understood what I've taught you today. Get your pen and paper at the ready and list from 1 to 20 the big quiz on adverbs and adjectives. And in the next video, pay attention to this because this is one of the questions. In the next video we are covering prepositions in English. And after that it is nouns, pronouns, proper nouns, collective nouns. You name the noun, we'll be discussing it. Don't miss that, whatever you do. I'll see you all later on, and bye bye just now.